Good morning. This is the OHSU Effect Inside Health and Science at OHSU. I'm Lacey Evans, and we told you about BodyWorlds back in October when it first came to OMSI. Well, BodyWorlds and the Brain is still going on, and we are lucky to have the creative director, Angelina Whalley, with us today. Hi.
Good morning.
So you are married to the founder of BodyWorlds, right?
Yes.
So what did you say when he came home and was like, hey, I want to do this plastination thing?
Actually, he had invented plastination already back then. He invented it back in 1977, and we got to know in 1986.
So you were used to it already?
I was absolutely fascinated when I first was introduced to plastination, and of course I wished that I had those specimens when I was a student.
So this started in Japan in 1995, and it's been in Oregon already a couple years ago. So tell us about this latest exhibit, BodyWorlds and the Brain.
Well, the BodyWorlds exhibition is touring since 1995, but ever since I'm constantly working our new concepts. We are constantly developing new specimens. And so this show at OMSI is an entirely different exhibition that was here on display a couple of years ago. It has really a huge variety of different specimens. It's a great collection with the latest technology. Also, interpretations are a lot more refined, and it comes along with a theme that is woven throughout the entire exhibition, and that is the brain.
Well, how was BodyWorlds created? You said Gunther started this process back in the 70s, so give us some history.
Well, we are anatomists, and plastination was not necessarily meant to help teaching lay people. It was meant to help teaching at universities in anatomy classes. And we found out just by chance and a lot later that there's such a huge demand and such a huge interest in these specimens, that the idea developed, and we were luckily invited by the Anatomical Society in Japan. They had planned for their 100th anniversary a particular exhibition that took place at the Tokyo National Science Museum, and they thought it would be a good idea to implement some of our specimens into their show. And it was such a tremendous success, and we had so moving experience how people reacted inside the exhibition. We said we definitely have to stay with this idea.
Well, the OHSU Brain Institute is a sponsor of this show. Does BodyWorlds often partner with institutions like OHSU?
Yes, once in a while, and I'm extremely happy to have this esteemed organization on board, and I'm really, really glad that they even provide scientists and physicians to be available for questions during the weekends and have regular programs on Saturdays to talk about various topics of the brain and brain diseases. I think that is really, really, really a great add-on.
Yeah, so let's talk more about this all-new exhibit. You mentioned briefly what's different this time, but what will visitors see? What will they learn when they arrive at OMSI?
Well, also this BodyWorlds exhibition is showing the entire human body. So I usually start with the locomotive system, with a skeleton, because I know that people may come with some hesitation. They may not be able to stand a droplet of blood when they go and see the doctor, and they may say, well, I don't know whether I really should go, but I know by experience it is so overwhelming for everybody. And it continues to dig deeper and deeper. We show the lungs and the heart, the cardiovascular system, and so on. And the entire exhibition is made up of real anatomical specimens. They are nicely dissected. They are single organs, healthy ones and diseased ones in direct comparison. But you also see full body specimen. You can see all the organs, how they are located inside the body. They are in very dramatic and beautiful poses. And it's just a fascinating tour through the entire human body. And
you mentioned this, and a lot of people are wondering, they are real bodies, correct?
They are real bodies, and we are glad that we have body donors who decided during lifetime to be part of it. We even have a body donation program set up in the United States, and we even have, for now, 39 donors from Oregon.
Wow. So how can people get on that list?
Well, we provide detailed information on our website, bodyworlds.com. It explains why we are doing that, what is plastination, how to become a donor, and you can download a set of donation forms that you fill in and sign. And that's not a firm contract. Of course, you can step back at any given time when you feel your family members are not in agreement with this or for whatever reasons. And then in case somebody passes away, of course, family members or the physicians need to get in touch with us and let us know.
Well, you mentioned it. What plastination? Tell us what it is. Tell us about that process.
Well, the process of plastination, that's a technology that is behind plastination. That's an invention my husband Gunther von Hartens made. That's actually a vacuum process that allows to exchange the tissue water and fat against a polymer like silicone rubber or epoxy resin.
So how long does a specimen last after it's been plastinated?
Well, one must understand that decay is dependent on water, and the water is totally replaced by silicone. And silicone is just like flexible stone, so it's a really, really resilient polymer. And I don't know how long they will finally last, but we feel they will certainly last longer than the mummies of the old pharaohs.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a long time then. Well, tell me about your role as creative and conceptual designer of the exhibitions. I know you travel a lot, but what else do you do?
Well, my position involves space planning. It involves deciding what kind of specimens go on display, what makes up the entire exhibition. I write all the medical texts that come along with it. So it's very manifold and it's really very rewarding.
What kind of reaction do you get from visitors when they come to a BodyWorlds exhibit for the first time? What do you see on people's faces?
What is really typical, and that was obvious in all the countries we visited all over the world, people are really taken by it because they realize they're actually looking at themselves. For the very first time, they get a complete different view of themselves. They suddenly understand what the cross ligaments look like that they might have injured when skiing last year, or they understand what arteriosclerosis is or cancer is, diseases that perhaps they suffer themselves from or family members, and they are totally taken. And usually people say after seeing it, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm sure I will not take my body for granted again.
Well, in addition to humans, you have some animals on display. Last time it came through, there was a camel, but this time there's a giraffe, right?
Yes, there's a huge life-size giraffe on display that is dissected beautifully, shows all the muscles and joints, and it's split a little bit so that you can also see into the bodily cavities to show the organs. And it's really, really something you would not want to miss.
What is your favorite specimen on display?
Oh, this is the toughest question you could ask me, I guess, because it's really a great collection. But there's a particular kind of specimen that I really love, and these are just the arteries. There's a special technology to make this happen. We inject a red polymer into the arteries, and while it cures, it takes the shape of the arteries. And when it's firm, you can dissolve the tissue away. What is left behind is just a cast. And it is looking so beautifully and fragile at the same time, so that from my perspective, they are the best representative of the human body.
Well, do you recommend children coming to this exhibit? Some of the specimens can be pretty graphic.
I would definitely suggest to bring your children as long as they are interested. I personally feel, and that's for over so many years my personal experience, that families have a great time. You know, they can explain the human body, and there's so much for these young people to take home. I once, for instance, experienced a young boy. He might have been about 8 or 9, and he saw the blackened lung from smoking, and he literally jumped on his father saying, Daddy, did you see that? I want you to stop smoking. So he certainly had a great lesson in this exhibition.
That's great. Well, you can get tickets at OMSI. It's $17 for children, $20 for students, $25 for adults. Dr. Angelina Whalley, thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure.